Hey there YouTube, just doing a quick video showing and comparing some Floyd Roses I have. These are all either original series or licensed from various companies. I'm going to do a magnetic test quickly for you guys. So here's a little magnet here, and I'm going to put it on the base plate of the of each of these units. So right here we have a licensed Chinese-made Floyd that I took off of a cheap knockoff. This one is from a Pevy for Floyd, also licensed, and a cheaper Pevy licensed Floyd. This is a 1000 series, or so is it? So the seller claimed to be a 1000 series Floyd Rose, and this last one here is a EVH off a Wolfgang Standard. It has a special logo right in the corner there, so this is considered a special. So fundamentally, they're all Floyd Roses. They all should fit in the same spots. They're designed the same way by the same sort of license and company, but the materials are different. So one notable differences that you'll see is that the blocks at the back, they have this rough texture, and it's pretty consistent with all the Floyd Roses that I have, at least here. These, if you have a block that looks like this is a zinc alloy material. It's the cheaper of the blocks. There's nothing wrong with these blocks per se. Some say it's inferior to steel, but you know, they may not sustain as well. But you know, in many cases, they're in some guitars they actually sound pretty good. So you can see the various sizes of the blocks, and so this is the cheapest of the Floyds right here, and it's slightly smaller, etc., etc. The 1000 series block I can show you here is very similar to the Pevys. They're zinc. They're about the same size. This one here is 34 millimeters, as the Floyd Rose logo. The other ones don't have that logo, and you can clearly see this is a 1000 series, because, or at least an equivalent to a 1000 series, because it doesn't have the Made in Germany stamp in the corner. So the magnetic test, just quickly here. So I'm going to put it on the base plate. So if you I put it on the 1000 series. Magnets, there's an extremely strong connection to it. So there is some steel properties in this base plate. The quality of the steel is, you know, to be determined. We don't know exactly what that would be, but compared to a this cheap Chinese knockoff, let's put this one as the sort of the end of the spectrum here. To touch it, and the magnet properties is not as strong as the at least the attraction to the base plate is not as strong. You get something like this really cheap Pevy, which is off some sort of cheap import Pevy from long ago. You see the rough texture on the base plate, not very clean. This is an indication of how they sort of cast the metal. But if you try to touch the metal, it still attracts. It still stays there, right? So there are some steel properties in this. But it's not that strong. You can tell the quality of this particular metal is inferior. The other important things that you want to consider when looking at the things that sort of break really quickly on these things is the knife edges. So making sure these are hardened steel, since it's part of the base plate itself. So if you're using obviously cheaper metals, that would probably wear down a lot faster. The other big thing is the saddles themselves. Sometimes the saddles are, maybe the base plate is weaker, but the saddles are stronger. You can always replace the saddles, but that should also be hardened steel in here as well. So those are the two sort of areas that sort of wear down the fastest. But otherwise, the magnetic test will give you a quick litmus test on whether or not your gear is up to speed, up to snuff for your purposes. So cheers, bye bye.